We're back here on the Yaffee program, News Talk 770 AM, 92.5 FM WVNN. I am Alabama's voice of reason, Huntsville's conservative conscience. Glad you're joining the show. Don't forget, after this show, you got the Vince Show. Then after that, you got Christopher Reed, the Daily Controversy. Later on, you got Mark Levin as well. So a lot of good stuff, always. Let's end the show like we usually do. We have the Yaffee program Rewind. Yes, that time of the show where I remind you, if you missed any of it live, the podcast will be up on the website, WVNN.com, or subscribe anywhere you get your podcasts, including the WVNN app, which you can find at the App Store. So at the beginning of the show, I actually talked about something a little bit different, but that's because there's been this thing like going viral about all the things that millennials have faced, and I'm a millennial. And you know, a part of me, there's a grain of truth to this because there are issues that millennials have had to face that maybe other generations haven't as much. And, you know, I want to solve problems. It's kind of the nature of who I am. But there's a sense of this that it's like this victim mentality and that somehow it was worse for us than maybe other generations. And I just don't think that's true. So this is kind of an example of one of the posts that went viral. It said the life of a millennial, graduated into the Great Recession. Entry-level jobs required 3 years of experience. Pensions replaced by the 401k. Promoted at work meant 2% raise and 200% more responsibility. Felt stability in life, then a pandemic. Highest inflation in 50 years, deleted pay raises. Home prices doubled overnight, forcing permanent renters. Childcare costs, 1 month of rent. Juggling aging parents, young kids, burnout from the work, and the cost to live. So there's some truth to that, especially when it comes to housing prices and it comes to inflation. But really, I would still much rather be a millennial and live in these times than, say, during the Great Depression and before that, World War II. Even baby boomers had some tough times when it came to inflation and oil embargoes and the Vietnam War. And so I just think that sometimes we just have this nostalgia for the past. And as a conservative, you know, I fall into that too sometimes. And there are some things we need to learn from the past, especially when it comes to our cultural issues, and bring it back. But we also need to be grateful for what we've had and what we have now, that we still have it pretty good in today's world. Even with those issues I described, we still, millennials have had it pretty good. So I just wanted to point that out. I talked about that in greater detail at the first segment of the show. The podcast is up. Had the Alabama bullet points as well today. The top stories from around the state, including the fact that Alabama schools could be required to allow student-led prayers if voters approve an amendment. Definitely going to be a big issue. Democrats are going to freak out about it, especially if the amendment passes on the ballot. But to me, it's like, we already don't have this, especially the Pledge of Allegiance part. We're not doing the Pledge of Allegiance anymore. Why not? So Democrats will cry foul, but looks like it has passed. So we talked about that during the bullet points, other bullet points up on the podcast. Then I did give the latest when it came to the war in Iran, including something that Vice President J.D. Vance said, because you have this ceasefire deal. I'm cautiously optimistic that maybe it can hold. A lot of skepticism already that it can. Oil prices are already going back up. A lot of it has to do with Israeli operations in Lebanon, which wasn't a part of the ceasefire deal, even though Iran is trying to say it was. But go ahead, just a reminder, go ahead real quick. I played this earlier. I'll play it again. Play the J.D. Vance cut for me, Walker.
I actually think, and there's a lot of bad faith negotiation and a lot of bad faith, propaganda going on. I think this comes from a legitimate misunderstanding. I think the Iranians thought that the ceasefire included Lebanon, and it just didn't. We never made that promise. We never indicated that was going to be the case. What we said is that the ceasefire would be focused on Iran, and the ceasefire would be focused on America's allies, both Israel and the Gulf Arab states. That said, the Israelis, as I understand it, again, I'm supposed to get a fuller report when I get on the plane, have actually offered to be, frankly, to check themselves a little bit in Lebanon because they want to make sure that our negotiation is successful. That's not because that is part of the ceasefire. I think that's the Israelis trying to set us up for success, and we'll, of course, see how that unfolds in the next few days. But, look, if Iran wants to let this negotiation fall apart, in a conflict where they were getting hammered over Lebanon, which has nothing to do with them and which the United States never once said was part of the ceasefire. That's ultimately their choice. We think that would be dumb, but that's their choice.
All right, so we talked about that. We also had Christopher Reed on, host of The Daily Controversy. He's going to join me for a segment every Thursday. His show is later on. If you missed that interview, the podcast will be up. Also had something that made Yaffee, which was this latest ad put out by State Auditor Andrew Sorrell. Play the Andrew Sorrell cut for me, Walker.
I'm Hannah Sorrell, and my husband Andrew loves auditing state government property. I'm worried that if he doesn't get reelected as state auditor,
Liberty has 17 stuffed animals. 17!
he might start auditing at home.
These crowns were purchased in bulk. Very efficient.
And it's not just the girls.
9 diapers and 4 pacifiers. You've passed your first audit.
So please reelect Andrew Sorrell as state auditor for the sake of our house and our sanity.
So it's similar to an ad that he put out when he ran the first time. It was pretty effective, and I think it's pretty good. It made me laugh anyway, so I played that earlier. You have to check out the video, though. The video's even better. I'm sure his campaign is going well. So we had that earlier. We did What's Trending as well. We talked a little bit about what's going on in the legislature, kind of to the last day of the session, and a lot supposed to happen in the last day of the session. So there you go. If you miss any of the show, the podcast is up. Appreciate you listening. Thanks to Walker for producing today. And yes, I'll be back tomorrow at the same time. See you then.
It's the Yaffee Program on WVNN.
You didn't start a business just to keep the lights on. You're here to sell more today than yesterday. You're here to win. Lucky for you, Shopify built the best converting checkout on the planet. Like the just one tapping, ridiculously fast acting, sky-high sales stacking, champion of checkouts. That's the good stuff right there. So if your business is in it to win it, win with Shopify. Start your free trial today at shopify.com/win.
The NFL Draft, presented by Bud Light, is coming to Pittsburgh, and it's your chance to witness the future of the game for free from April 23rd to April 25th. Feel the energy of the NFL Draft. See the Vince Lombardi Trophy and Super Bowl rings. Meet NFL players and legends. Enjoy interactive games and live music performances, and be there as the future of the NFL takes center stage. The NFL Draft starts April 23rd. Register for free entry at NFL.com/draft access today.
Full Send Golf.
You guys know how much I really, really love golf, and I think every week would be dope to post on the Golf Channel. I want to get a lot of guests on here.
Salim's going to take lead. I'm down to be in it. It's not really work to play golf.
Join the party on the golf course.
I was like, let's go to the range. Oh. So what are we putting on it?
We said 10K, right?
10K?
All right. We probably bet more than all the other golf channels, right?
10K, 9 holes.
Those guys bet for like cookies.
I feel like I'm going to shank it.
This guy's been training like a Navy SEAL when it comes to golf.
I'm very, very excited. You excited?
Yeah.
Full Send Golf. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Next Roll with Vernon Davis. The transformative journeys of athletes, artists, and entrepreneurs.
Ladies and gentlemen, lights out, Sean Merriman.
I want to be the biggest and the best in what I do. And so whatever it takes, I'll get it done. In business and everything else, all I do is know how to fight and earn what I want.
My man, Malik S. What actor or comedian would you want to collaborate with? Me, Jamie Foxx, and Kevin Hart in a movie. We said it on Vernon Davis podcast, and so we'll circle back and be like, yep, here go the clip.
Next Roll with Vernon Davis. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.